I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous bow. Now I'm using colors for Halloween because I'm filming this in October. So look at the ribbons that I've chosen. We have black and then pumpkins and then some orange and black again. You can use whatever ribbons you like, all different kinds. I'm also going to add in some of this yarn. See this here? You can add in some of that if you'd like. You can also get fabric and just cut a strip of fabric the same width as this, about 7/8 inch. You just need to make sure you have enough of it, and if it's not long enough, you'd have to sew the two pieces together. But that's another option if you don't have enough ribbon. So we're going to get started. I'm going to show you a couple other things you need. You need some great thread. You need a French barrette. You need a pair of scissors. You probably need something to measure with. If you don't, that's not a big deal. And then a hot glue gun. So now we can get started after you gather all your materials. Now the first thing you need to do is just pop the center out of your French barrette. Okay? And then just put that aside. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and just line up all of our ribbon, one on top of the other. So just get these all lined up, whichever ones you're using, and then push them all off to the same side. Keep them on the roll and just have them piled up. Okay, now that I'll have all my ribbons in a nice straight pile, I'm using 5 different kinds of ribbons. You could double up and use the exact same one a couple times if you wanted to, but you don't need to. Okay, now I'm going to leave just about 2 inches, and we're going to place this on the end. Now it doesn't matter which end you want to start with, either one is fine. And I like just to put a dab of hot glue down right at the end, so at least that bottom layer stays in place just while I'm working here. So just a dab. Obviously all the layers aren't going to stay put. Grab your piece of thread. You're going to need a lot of this, and you need to hold it really tightly. So first what I'm going to do is just wrap this right around the end to secure all the ribbon to the barrette, and I'm making a really tight knot. This is really important because you want this to stay. Okay, so once you have your ribbon straight and lined up on the end of there and wrapped around to hold tight, you're going to continue to use this thread. Okay, so you want to make sure that this is really tight as we're going to wrap it. Now take your layers, keep them lined up on top of each other as much as possible, and just fold it over and make a loop. Okay, so we have a loop right there. Now you want it to be about 2 inches, that's good enough. Now we're going to take our thread and just wrap it around. Let me change hands since I'm right-handed to do the wrapping. Okay, and then just try to keep these lined up as nicely as possible. There's our loop. And then we're just going to wrap this, okay? So you want it to be pretty tight. See how I'm just wrapping it? And do it multiple times, at least 3 times is probably good. 1 more. Okay. Now hold this really tight with your hands. Now we're going to make sure this is straight again, and then do another loop. Okay, and then just make sure it's the same size as our first loop. You can put your fingers in there, or just kind of eyeball it. They don't have to be perfect. If you're selling them, I suggest that you do it perfectly. It's kind of nice to have a nice even loop. Okay, a little bit more. See, I'm just pulling it till they're the exact same size. Now take this thread that we've been holding tightly and then wrap it around at the base of that loop. Takes a little bit of maneuvering. Okay. There we go, just wrapping around. Now I'm going to keep doing this till I have the entire barrette filled with these loops. Now make sure that you push them down, squeeze them together and push them down so you can get as many loops as possible on there. So I have this here. I'm going to loop it up. I'm running out of room here in the end, but I like to make as many as possible. Right up on there. Hold them all in place and wrap it. 1, 2, 3 times. As soon as you're done with that loop, push it down towards the other loops, and then you have room to make more. See, I probably still have room for 2 or 3 more on there, and I just have an inch left. So I'm going to continue and then show you how to finish it off. Okay, so once you do the last loop, you want to just make sure it's really, really tight, because this is where it's going to stay on the end there. And then we just need to tie it off. Now we can go ahead and flip this over and cut off the tail the same length as our other side that we started with, so just a couple inches, cut it off. And we're almost ready. Now all you need to do with this is just fluff out your loops, just separate all your loops as best that you can, and you're all set. Now if you want to cut the tails on angles, you can go ahead and do that, cut them on an angle. Just make sure you heat seal all your ends, and your fun loopy bow, perfect for Halloween, or of course remember, use any other color ribbon that you'd like for any holiday or any occasion. This is how you make a great loopy bow. Now one thing that I do want to show you that I've seen with some of these loopy bows that I thought was really cool, if you want another idea, what you can do is take these loops and cut them in half, okay? And then just cut the ends on an angle. You see that? So you can have some fun pieces sticking out. So what I'm going to do is do that with all of my black ribbon here, the skinnier black ribbon. I'm just going to cut it at an angle. So I have some different looks to this. So that's really cool. If you're going to be selling these, you want to have some different options, or just for your little girl to wear, you don't always want to have the same loopy bow. So that's just another way that you can do it. Isn't that adorable?